speaking of basketball, I do have a question because a lot of people don't know this, but the whole skit with Charlie Murphy and that was reenacted by Dave Chappelle. You were there. You were in this game.
I was in that game. Yes.
Whose team were
Yes.
you on? Were you
I,
were you on Prince's side?
I was Team Prince.
So you were
We were
blouse,
actually
you
at
were
a
blouse.
Shirts or blouses.
yeah, I was Team Blouses, I guess. But no, we weren't wearing blouses. We were at a club in LA. I think it was called Tramps, which was in the Beverly Center, and we would club. It was a private club that we would frequent. Eddie would frequent, and we were both there that on the same night. And Prince invited him back to the house to play basketball, and it turned into that. I honestly, I was shocked that Charlie had brought it up as a story, but I loved the story Charlie told, and it was hilarious. And a lot of times when you're in a situation, you don't really appreciate or realize what's going on here. I mean, I'm playing basketball with Prince and Eddie Murphy, and here's this thing going on. And the way Charlie was able to tell that story, it was hilarious. I laughed my head off. I was shocked that he was like, "Oh, that's the story." But yep, that happened. It really happened, and
I heard there was pieces that Eddie Murphy was trying to get Prince to listen to his music during that
yeah,
basketball
okay.
game.
I wasn't gonna bring that up. So there's the part that was left out of that story. I appreciate it, but I'm gonna I'm gonna follow it up with a comment after.
Okay.
So Eddie had his next album that he wanted Prince to hear. So while the game was happening, we had a boombox out there, and the tape was playing. After we beat them in that game, Prince went over and popped the cassette out. I remember him throwing it in the woods, but he definitely popped it out and was just kind of like tossed it. And of course, there's this "oh my God" moment, like
Oh man.
But he asked Eddie a question. He said, "Do you see me stopping my shows to do comedy?" And he said, "No." And then Prince was like, "Well, what makes you think you could stop yours to do music?" And if you took it on the face of things, it was very offensive for him to say that. Eddie could have obviously come back and said, "Well, what makes you think you can do movies? Because you're going into acting or whatever."
Right.
Right.
However, Prince being Prince, what he really meant, and I think really what it was about, I know what it was about. He thought Eddie Murphy was the funniest comedian on earth at that time. He loved Eddie's comedy. He would often emulate Eddie's, act or whatever, and speak in that vernacular and whatnot. So it was really he had so much respect for him that he was kind of questioning, like, why are you trying to do this? Because you're never going to be better than me at this. And if you're not going to be better than me, if there's not even a chance of you being better at me, then you should just, stay in that lane and be the best you that you are right now. So it's really out of respect. Well, during my time there, we really never reconnected with that group again. I understand they did later, so there was no hard feelings going forward, from what I understand. But yeah, that was the basketball game. And yes, at the end, did go in and have pancakes. That was true. Absolutely. I went to my room. I was done. I mean, this game took place at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, so pancakes were appropriate for the time of day. It was breakfast, but yeah, that's what we were doing.
I'm
So
sure losing that game hurt the most.
We put a hurt number on that game.
I
It wasn't even
bet.
close. It wasn't even close.
that's funny.